Welcome to 805 Focus. I'm Dr. Cinder Sinclair with Nonprofit Connect, and we will be bringing you the latest on your favorite nonprofits. So get ready to be inspired. And you're watching TV Santa Barbara. Our special guest today is Amy Tovias, and Amy is Operations Director for Youth and Family Services, which is one of the many programs of our local YMCA. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, gosh. You have a lot to tell us, I know.
Yes.
Every time I hear about new things going on, especially in youth and family services, I am so impressed and so proud to be a part of this community that has such great services. And I have a feeling a lot of people don't know about some of the fabulous things you guys do over there.
Absolutely.
So where should we start? Where would you like to start telling us about that?
Well, I think first and foremost is even when you think of the YMCA, you typically think about gyms, childcare, swim, and a lot of people don't realize that youth and family services exists in the community. Not every YMCA has it, and we're very fortunate that our Channel Islands YMCA does.
Yes.
So within the Youth and Family Services branch, we have a few different programs, but all of them are aimed to serve youth who are experiencing homelessness, abuse, abandonment, crisis, exploitation, and we work to help them secure and maintain long-term housing.
Wow. Okay, so I'll just ask you questions that pop into my head
Sure.
that I think others might have. So how many youth do you serve typically in a given, I don't know, however you measure it, month or year? Or?
Great question. So through all of our programs on a year, we typically serve about 500 youth. That does not include all of the family members that we're also helping, partnering up with other community agencies and collaborators and, grandparents, aunts, uncles, everything like that. Everyone in a youth's life, we're willing to help out.
So you have programs where youth can sort of just hang out, but you also have other ones where they can actually live or stay for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a few different programs, and the most well-known would be Noah's Anchorage Youth Shelter. That's where we serve our youngest population, which is 12 to 17 years old. At that location, youth can come drop in, just hang out for a little bit, get some basic supplies like a meal, clothing, take a shower, do their laundry. They can also receive mental health counseling, case management.
Wow.
And then they can also stay for a short amount of time too. So we do immediate emergency shelter for youth that are in need of housing.
So they could actually spend the night there, spend a week or so.
Yes, they can stay for, typically around 3 weeks at a time. And then during that time, we're working with them, we're working with their families, we're working with other possible caregivers to try to get them to transition home safely.
So how do they find out about you?
A lot of different ways. We partner up with a lot of community agencies. We also are very close with the schools, so we'll get referrals from counselors and educators. And then the biggest way that youth hear about us is word of mouth.
Yes,
if
sure.
they have a friend that has used our services or hears about our services, then they're more willing or likely to reach out as well.
So, like if a family member or a teacher or someone in the community becomes aware of a young person who seems to be challenged in some way, do they typically come and talk to you or tell you about them?
Great question. So we take referrals in a number of ways. The first is that they can call anytime. We have a 24/7 support line. So youth, families, support personnel, anyone in the community can call and talk to a person who's on site who can help navigate what program or what service is going to best suit their needs. Or they can come and drop on in. So again, we're there 24/7, and youth 12 to 17 can come on in any time if they need to just rest for a little bit or if they need longer term services.
So 12 to 17. And then I guess, they come in there, they find out how great it is, and they tell their friends, hey, come on, let's go over to Noah's Anchorage.
Absolutely, yes. So we're very busy in the afternoons, typically after school, where youth can come on in and do their homework. They can get help with tutoring. They can play games, do some art projects, things like that. And then from there, we learn to help them even further. So that might be with the case management, with the counseling, because they feel safe, they feel comfortable, and have built rapport with our staff.
So you really tailor it, on the surface to the young people. It looks like, oh, here's a place to hang out, but you really tailor the services you give to each one, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so Noah's Anchorage, how did it get that name?
That was a decision that our executive directors made a few years ago. It was actually in the community before under different ownership. And so when the YMCA took over operations a little over 25 years ago, they made the decision to name it Noah's Anchorage.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Because I thought I had heard about it years and years ago, and so I was a little bit confused. Okay.
Yeah.
So Noah's Anchorage. Now tell us about another of your programs.
Yeah, so the next one would be our transitional aged youth programs.
Okay.
We have the Haley Street Navigation Center, which is located right near downtown Santa Barbara. And at that location, we serve youth and young adults from ages 17 up through 24 years old.
Oh, so that's the next sort of age group then.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, so it has a lot of the same services as Noah's Anchorage, just it does not have shelter, and it's older.
Oh, it doesn't have shelter.
Correct. Instead of shelter, we link them with housing.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So at this location, it's a drop-in center. We're open 6 days a week and have open drop-in hours from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day. That means that youth who are in need, that are maybe experiencing housing instability, are literally homeless, or just need a safe place to hang out and get a meal and get some resources, can come on in without an appointment. We want them to know that we're there and that the service is available and that they can get their basic needs met without having to plan or coordinate outside of their normal schedule.
So then do they get the same services as the younger ones, like mental health and that sort of thing?
Yes, all the services there are similar. We have the basic needs like meals, clothing, supplies, hygiene items, shoes, and then we have the intensive case management, mental health counseling, and the case management at that location specifically emphasizes employment, education, and housing. But we really cover all sorts of different types of needs.
That's amazing. So you say housing. Golly, Santa Barbara is so hard to find housing. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we have a lot of different housing options, which many people don't realize. That's kind of an arm off of our navigation center. It's our My Home program. And we have everything from transitional housing to long-term housing to permanent housing.
Wow.
And those ones are all a little bit different. They're all a little bit nuanced, but they have everything from housing completely covered. Youth don't have to pay rent at all in, say, our transitional housing program. And then for our permanent housing program, it's based off of income.
Okay.
So once a youth starts to work and save up and is building their budget and their finances, then we can have them start to take on small portions of their rent in order to show and demonstrate their independence and self-sufficiency.
Wow, that is so great. And you probably have people who teach them all about the financial aspect of it.
Yes, that's part of our regular case management meetings. And then we also have special workshops. We'll do a financial workshop or a budgeting workshop. Other types of workshops like music class and cooking and things like that too. Yes. It's all part of those life skills that they need to become independent.
That is great. Okay, now what program are we going to talk about? I know you've got a new one. We're probably saving it for last.
So that's kind of the next step is our program, the Lion's House.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have now the first and only transitional housing placement program for former foster youth in Santa Barbara County.
All right.
We have a beautiful home donated by Steve Lyons, where we can house up to 9 young people ages 18 to 20 years old.
Okay.
And this program serves youth who were in the foster care system upon their 18th birthday.
Oh, okay.
So they qualify for support services through the Department of Social Services.
All right. So you work with the Department of Social Services on that one.
Yes.
So then how does that work? What kind of support do they get in addition to the fabulous housing?
So in line with a lot of our other programs, the Lions House is kind of a blend between Noah's Anchorage and our housing programs that we have for transitional aged youth. It is a little bit more supportive. It has the on-site case manager, on-site director, live-in resident assistants who help with just the day-to-day. We provide some of the basic needs in the house and supplies, and then we're working towards the same goals that we implement with those that are at Noah's Anchorage and that are coming into our drop-in center. So we're really trying to focus on education, employment, and housing.
Okay, so I was going to ask you about that. So you help them find employment.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so at this program, youth can technically move in on their 18th birthday, and they can stay up until just before their 21st birthday. So that's a possibility of living there for 3 years. We provide the intensive case management where we're helping them get enrolled in school, identifying trade schools if that's what they're interested in, applying for jobs, building their resumes, doing mock interviews, all of those fun things.
Fabulous. And so I would imagine you collaborate with all kinds of organizations and schools. And, you know, when you were talking about looking for employment, I thought, well, maybe even clothing that they would wear to a job interview. There are organizations that typically have that sort of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Like you said in the beginning, we're so lucky to be in such a supportive community.
Yeah.
There's across all of our programs, NOAA's, our navigation center, and the Lions House, all of our housing programs, the youth are able to connect with either our programs or outside agencies through case management with us. So purchasing or receiving supplies, you know, getting extra support with employment, getting enrolled into school and receiving special benefits from Santa Barbara City College, things like that. We're very fortunate to be able to help them receive those benefits.
So that's great. So with all these collaborations, there's kind of like a web that really supports all these kids. Good for you.
Yes.
So now YMCA, Youth and Family Services, you're a 501c3, a nonprofit. So people, I bet you really like tax-deductible donations.
Absolutely.
And so a person could go on your website, for example, and you probably have a Donate Now button.
We do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they can probably look at all kinds of other things on the website, like all the different programs and how they might become involved. I assume you you use volunteers or you invite them.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, all of that can be found on our website. We have full descriptions of each of our programs.
Oh, good.
We even have some virtual tours of our locations, our youth shelter, and that's where you can find the donate and the volunteer buttons.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and so let's say somebody wants to volunteer. Do you give them training and stuff? So anybody could volunteer as long as you train them.
Our programs are licensed through the state of California. So we are required to make sure that anyone coming in, staff and volunteers, are screened.
Of course.
And, receive a lot of training because this is tough work, and youth that we serve have experienced a lot of abandonment, neglect, trauma, and we want to be sure that staff and volunteers feel supported in their efforts to help give back to them.
Oh, that's so great. Sounds like it's fine-tuned, that you guys are thinking of everything.
Yeah.
So let's see. I wanted to ask you, I bet you have a story or two you could tell us. It's such inspiring work that you're doing.
Yes, I have a ton. So how much time do you have? I think one of the wonderful things about our programs is that they're really designed to help offer a continuum of care for youth. We don't want to provide a temporary support and then have them go back into the world and not have ongoing help.
Yes.
And we recognize that while we might resolve one challenge, there's often other challenges that come up after the fact. So we try to help bridge the gap between youth and young adulthood. So that 17 to 18 years old age difference or age gap is really tough for a lot of people because services end when you turn 18 and they also begin when you turn 18. And so one of the wonderful ways that our programs collaborate is through referrals within. So, to share a quick story, we had a youth who was 17 who came into our shelter at Noah's Anchorage, had been experiencing a lot of conflict in the home, was going through gender identity and didn't feel comfortable or safe to share their identity with their family. And it caused a lot of challenges. And so we were able to have them stay at the shelter. In the meantime, helped them come out and open up to their parents and helped provide counseling so that way they could establish a good relationship while recognizing that moving home was not the place for them. And so we were able to transition them, fortunately, to our transitional aged youth programs who helped secure housing. So that way, on their 18th birthday, this individual moved from Noah's Anchorage Youth Shelter into their own apartment in Santa Barbara and was able to continue working with their family. We were still providing supportive services and counseling, but they were able to reach independence and establish a safer and better relationship with their family.
Wow. That is a big deal. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
You've been with the Youth and Family Services now for a while. How long have you been there?
Yeah, I've been with Youth and Family Services for 5.5 years.
Golly.
I started out at Noah's Anchorage and...
Did you?
Yes, and I was a clinical staff there and ended up taking on some leadership roles after that.
So you know about all of it from the ground up. So good for them for putting you as a operations director.
Yeah, in fact, all of our leaders, all of our directors have grown through the program, started out in the front, working directly with the youth, and then established leadership roles from the work that they did.
That is so good. Do any of the people that you serve ever come back to, I don't know, volunteer or even work there or anything?
Yes, so we actually just recently had a young man who we just recently had a young man who used to receive our drop-in services at Noah's Anchorage. He had been coming for years, and he once asked our staff what it would take to work at the shelter. And all of a sudden, he turned 21, and he knocked on our door and said, "I want to apply. I've been waiting," and that's how we brought him on. So now we have someone that has lived experience working in there and giving back directly.
Yeah. Oh, I love that story. That's great.
Yeah. We have a lot of youth who stay at the shelter who say that they want to come and work for us one day, but it was nice to actually see it.
Yeah, and I'm just so glad about the Steve Lyons and him. And you just received an award from Women's Fund for the Lions House.
Yes, yeah. The Lions House is a monumental achievement in Santa Barbara County.
Yes.
There's nothing like it that existed before, and the youth that qualify for that supportive program were having to leave the county in order to receive support.
Really?
And so now, through having it here, they're able to live right near Santa Barbara City College, right in the heart of downtown, and have the supportive services on site, so that way they can transition from being a youth and being very sheltered and having a lot of support to being independent and on their own.
Well, there are a lot of people in Santa Barbara I know that are grateful to Steve Lyons and his vision and generosity.
Absolutely.
That is great. Well, Amy, thank you so much for all the great work you're doing, you and your team. And thanks for coming on our show to tell us all about it.
Thank you again for having me, Cinder.
And thank you for joining us on 805 Focus, and we'll see you next time.